Hey, what's going on, people of the internet? My name is Kylie and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Now, it's been 2 weeks since I've done a proper update on this DWC setup, or deep water culture setup, and it has grown so much in 2 weeks, both of them. So this is a big Jim pepper to the left, and this is a not so tiny Tim to the right, which needs some pruning. It's in desperate need of pruning, which I'm going to do after this video, but just look at the sheer size of the two. This one is just so robust. And again, in desperate need of a pruning. There are, I think, two ripe tomatoes on there. Now, this guy actually had a pepper on it during transplant, though, which I had assumed that thing would fall off by now. But it's actually changing colors. I actually checked on it and I pulled it to see if it was a little loose so that I can actually pluck it off. But I mean, I'm just gonna let it do its thing there. And as you can see, that stem is so thick. Check that out, you guys. That is a nice thick stem. Oh my goodness, got some roots coming. Oh, speaking of roots, you are gonna actually die when you see this. Hopefully not, but look, check that out. Lovely roots, very nice roots. This thing is doing great. Oh, and actually, I was really surprised by its water consumption. I thought it was gonna be drinking a lot more water than it does. I actually don't have to refill this as often as I have to refill this bad boy. This thing is just sucking up water like no tomorrow. So I'm thinking maybe after the pruning, it won't be drinking as much water, but we'll see. It's got a lot going on here. We've got a lot more tomatoes coming in. Oh, there's another red or ripe looking tomato there. But yes, this thing is doing great. I'm really surprised by the roots though. The roots are not as robust as the pepper roots, which usually in my systems, oh, and this thing is getting so heavy, you guys. So yeah, there's really not, the roots are pretty pathetic compared to how large the actual plant is, but I don't know, that's just shocking to me because in my systems, systems being these, the arrow gardens and whatnot, usually my tomato roots are quite thick, very long, but my pepper roots are the opposite. They're always very short. They really don't get very long. So using DWC buckets is so surprising. At least it's been surprising for me. Let me show you guys these beautiful flowers because there are quite a lot throughout this plant. Now this also needs a good pruning too because some parts aren't getting light, and I want this to do, as well as possible. So I'm trying to think of any other updates I can give you guys other than taking a look at this gorgeous plant from all angles. Like, these leaves are just absolutely gorgeous. So this is a big Jim, and this is another big Jim that I'm growing in a self-watering container. Now, obviously, your size of fruit varies based on container size. The size of the leaves, for instance, just absolutely trumps those other ones. It is just, these are incredible. Incredibly beautiful, and I would highly recommend DWC buckets. This is just the way to go. Now, we all know it needs a pruning, but it's been just absolutely spilling out from the left and right, and I had to add in a lot more stakes. I'm hoping that pruning helps with the actual weight of it because the wire setup I had was working temporarily, but as this thing just grew and got out of hand, it just could not support the sheer weight. And besides, I didn't want wires going all over the garment rack. So stakes was the next best option. The other option was I do actually have some mesh that I could place around the bucket, but I like looking at the plants and being able to, touch it and move things if I need to. That's why the stakes are great. I probably just need to add more stakes. But that's the update for today on these Mars Hydro buckets and the garment rack setup. Oh, a couple of you have let me know that the garment rack setup is going to be working for you as well. So I'm glad that I was able to share this, and I love this setup. It is super convenient having it on a garment rack because you can actually move this and not have to worry about a mess. So I always like coming up with solutions that make my life simpler and not harder. So thank you all again for joining me, and I'll be seeing you until next time.